Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Andrew, also known as GingerHacker, and I'm excited to bring you another great video with Try Hack Me as we get into SOC Level 2. Now, we are going down the pipeline, and we won't be doing every single room, but there's a few rooms I wanted to jump into that we could all jump in together and work on. So if you've not gone to Try Hack Me is a great site where we can kind of go in, leverage some great skills, and they have some free and paid rooms that you can also get into to level up and break into cyber. So today we're going to be doing the SOC level 2 path, and the room we are doing is the Splunk dashboards and reports. Now let's jump in here and go ahead and get started. So with our introduction here, we are once again, this is the SOC 2 path. So there are some prerequisites of things that we should possibly hopefully know or be familiar with. And no worries if you're not, they do have some other recommendation rooms such as Splunk Basics, exploring SPL, and setting up the SOC lab, which is also on our path that we've already been doing. So let's go ahead and hit checkbox on that one. Now, I've already spun up the Splunk instance, which we're going to be getting to here on task 3, but let's keep moving around as we get to Splunk, as we get to our task 2. So organization data in Splunk, this is going to be a great way of how we're going to be utilizing the visualizations and actually going into, once we go into our Splunk and reporting here, we'll actually be uploading some reports and going and using the dashboards function on creating some dashboards within this room. So they quickly kind of just go over where we're going to be navigating to, what the search and reporting fields look like, as well as how we're going to be able to open up and get into all of our indexes, doing that index wildcard as we have an all time also checked. Sometimes that's always one thing to keep in mind. If we do our index wildcard without doing the correct time, so here we have that last 24, you're going to get all zeros. So make sure you have that set to all time. And by doing that, you should be seeing roughly about 35,000 logs or events total within this room. So let's go ahead and keep moving. So real quick, our first question, actually perfect, which is what we just went over, is what's the search term that would show us all indexes in Splunk? And that is index equals star. All right, moving right along. So creating reports and securing searches or recurring searches. There we go. So we're going to keep moving down the path here, and we're going to kind of keep going down of what we're having to do. So here we've now spun up our instance. Now keep in mind, once you spin this up, it's going to take about 3 to 5 minutes to fully get that thing going. And the nice thing is you don't really need an instance going. What it will actually do is pull up this separate tab once you get this completely ran and it's fully up and running. And then you can click on that URL and it should kick you to a Splunk Enterprise with no login required. So let's go ahead and get started and see what else we kind of need to get into this aspect of the room. So it looks like they're going over some of the reports we can see already established and put in here for us. So it looks like they have, if we go back here to reports, errors in the last 24, license user data, messages in the last 3 hours, Splunk errors in the last 24 hours, and a few other that they've already established and put there in for us. So let's see, the next scheduled time tab shows when the reports will run. Okay, awesome. We create a new report, we can run a search and then use the save as option right up here that we're going to be able to see. So if we went back here to search, we ran our searches here. Actually, here we'll do a quick index equals star. All time. Here you can see right here that save as opens up, and then we can actually click here on report, and then that's how that opens up for us. So yep. So once we click on a save as report, we can then kind of pull this open. We get a title, description, the content, the time range picker, and pretty self-explanatory personally. So, but here we have our first search and query we're actually going to be leveraging into creating our first report. And that is looking for a host VPN server and then doing a stats count by username. So let's go up here real quick. We're actually going to highlight the entire thing, drop this in. Looks like we have 86 events. So let's keep moving down the line here. So yep, so we're going to save this. So we're going to go here to save as and save our first report. Save this as a report. I'm going to go ahead and keep this as VPN server. Put this as range picker. Do we need to have the range picker on? Range picker, yes. Yep. So hit yes, we need static table, can hit save, and boom, we've now created the report. So perfect. We've now done our this report will be a statistics table because then we can use stat count in the query. Awesome. We will then click and view the report. View. Here we go. So on the report tab, we can see our report now. So let's go here, go to the report tab. And yeah, there it is right there. VPN server. That's what we just made. So I can click on that real fast. Here's all the names we just had. So perfect. And excellent. Now we have to create a port from the network server log host and then list the ports used in the network connection and their count. So let's see what we can figure out and find and see if we can get this up and going to get our first flag here done. Now, as I mentioned before, we're actually going to be using a different query to find this. So what we want to find is the network server logs. So what we can actually do is we'll pivot back in here. We're going to go up in here, index equals star, and then we can do a host equals network server. Make sure we get off of that 24-hour, go to all time, hit save. Okay. Then from here, we can see that we have our index, network logs. So if we go to port, let's see, what was the highest number of times any port is used in the network connections? Well, I see the highest number being 5. So let's go in here, drop that 5 in. All right, we are cooking. Next, while creating reports, which option do we need to enable to get to choose a time range for the report? Now, if we can simply go up here, if we go to save as and click on report, right here, it's going to tell us the time range picker. So go right in here real fast, grab that. Okay, perfect. We are moving right along. Outstanding. Now, for this next piece, we're going to be creating dashboards and summarizing results. So let's move forward and create a dashboard in the attached VM. And to start this, we're going to move to the dashboards tab, and then we will see this screen below. So let's cancel this. We're going to go to dashboards. And okay, cool. We should be seeing this, which is perfect what we want to see. So we then have step 2, which is some of our titles we have for the dashboards. 3, we have some actions, the owner, the app, if it's sharing, and then the type it is for classic. Now here we're going to be creating a new dashboard. And for this, let's click new dashboard. Looks like this is going to be the VPN users. So we can quickly go here, create new dashboard, VPN users, user, and we'll call this report. Now, description, we can do VPN user logged in. So we can do VPN user login. Now for permissions, we do want to have this as a shared app, and we are going to keep this as classic dashboard. So yep, shared app, keep it as classic. We're going to hit create. Oh man, nothing's showing up. Well, hey, no worries. We need to add that information or add that panel to the information. So as it goes right down here into the next piece of it, we can then select the new from report. So we can simply go to add panel, new from report. And there we can see our VPN server or VPN. Oh, did it save? Hold on. Splunk errors. Oh man, hold on. I don't think it's saved. VPN users. Yeah, I don't think it's saved for us. Let's go back in here. Oh, wow. That's kind of funny. All right, so let's go here. Let's go back to dashboards. Let's go back to create new. Go VPN underscore user. VPN user. Login. Share. Classic. Create. Okay, that's there. Perfect. Now, Let's see where we maybe had a little mess up here. So we'll have to use the classic dashboard approach. Let's do that to create. Yep, did that. We then need to be going into, we want to add the results from our report to the dashboard. We can then select a new from report option to do that. VPN users. Oh, I bet we didn't save our VPN users. That's probably what it was. So, yep, you know what? That's what it was. So that's too easy. We're just going to go back up here to our task 3. And we're going to grab here. Or you know what? Yeah, we do. I think it's just under VPN servers. Yeah, Alice, Andrew, Ava, Bob. Nope. We're looking for... Let's make sure this is the right stuff, everybody. Oh yeah, Alice, Andrew, Ava, Bob. Okay, weird. I wonder if I just labeled it the wrong thing for it being VPN user to VPN server. So not the end of the world. Cool. So what we did still is went to add panel, new from reports, and we pulled in our VPN server information. Now we can actually take that. And what we can do is this is going to have us take this and put these results into a different visualization. So it looks like they wanted this to be a column chart visualization. So if we go down here to our VPN server, we can click here on visualization. And I want to say they said column chart. There we go. Oh no, what'd I click? Oh, I clicked into somebody, that's why. Add panel, view from report, VPN, okay, X. There it is. Cool. Perfect. Okay, awesome. Now, this looks nice and neat. It's also in white, light mode, obviously not dark mode, as we can see here on the bottom one, which is fine. But let's see. We now want to, at a glance, add the panel open option. However, we'll keep this as a task as a single report. Cool. Perfect. So now we want to create a dashboard from the web server logs to show a status code in a line chart view. So we are going to have to go back to our stats and we're going to create a new report. So we'll hit search. Yes, we're okay to leave. Here we're going to do host equals web server. We're going to pipe that into a stats count by status underscore code. And we can sort count that right there. Make sure we're getting out of the 24-hour one. That way we can actually see the entirety of what we're looking for here. Host equals web server status count by stats. Oh, that's why. Stat us. There we go. Spelling's important, everybody. Remember this. And cool. So we have that. Now what we can do is we can save this. Save as a report. And we'll call this web underscore server 1 stuff we need for a description. Range picker, we're going to say yes. Throw this into a save. Go ahead and click view. We can now push this over to dashboards. Create new dashboard. Nope, not create new dashboard. Going a little too fast. Or no. Yes, we do want to create a dashboard. Man, I'm losing it. So we're going to call this web server report. Reports. This can also be shared. Put this to classic. Yes. Now from here, we're going to go into our panel. Go from our reports. Grab the web server information. Add that to the dashboard. And bada bing, bada boom, we have some data. Now, let's see specifically if it's asking us to do this in a manner that would make sense for using it for the dashboard. So here we see a status code and a line chart. Which status code was observed for the least number of times? So we can simply go here, go to line chart. And looks like what we see is 400. So we go back over here. We can type in 400. Ooh, we are on a roll. So good job, everybody. Now, what is the name of the traditional Splunk dashboard builder? Now, this can actually be seen when you're actually making and saving the report. And I'll show you real fast. Let's do a search history. We're going to pull this one back in, do a search all time. If you go here to save as report, when you're when you're doing the dashboard builder, I lied. So dashboard, create new. We have our classic dashboards and dashboard studio. So the traditional Splunk dashboard is classic. Hey, awesome. We are on a roll. So, well, hey, everybody, before we get any further, I would like to mention we do have a sponsor for this video, which I'm so excited, is once again, the Bearded IT Dad IT Career Accelerator. Now, if you haven't heard or seen of the IT Career Accelerator, I very much would tell you go check this out. Not only are there different tiers to where if you wanted to have just a free version to jump into the community, talk to some fellow folks trying to break into cyber, or if you're curious to maybe have a mentor like myself or Dakota help you kind of learn the ropes and break in with some one-on-one time, some resume reviews, and some prep, you can use my 20% first 6-month code, GingerHacker, to get 6 months free. 6 months free. I lied. 20% off on that subscription, getting into the Bearded IT Dad's Career Accelerator. I myself am in it. I've leveraged it for a lot of my mentees as well to check out. It's great to be in that community, to have some other folks also trying to break in, ask questions, share success stories, and just have some fun and talk to the community. So if you haven't yet, definitely scan the QR code, give it a check, and see if you can also break into cyber with some of the awesome tips and tricks that Dakota and some of the other folks in there are sharing and helping folks get that first job and getting that yes. So definitely check it out. And as we're on our last task before we get to our finale here of just a simple conclusion, we are now doing the alerting on high priority events. Now, with this task, a lot of these answers, I will tell you right now, are going to be able to be found simply by reading through and going down the checkboxes as you read through the entirety of task 5. So we really don't need to much really be inside the enterprise, like Splunk Enterprise anymore, unless you follow along and go through the next few searches and getting into setting up and saving these alerts. So, but as we continue on, let's keep moving forward. So here again, they give us the example of the index summary extracted host for the VPN server, specifically for Sarah. And they're creating a parameter or an alert that's going to fire off certain things that would make this detect. So they want to run this every week. This is going to expire after 24 hours, but it's going to run on Mondays at 6. It's going to be a number of results greater than 0 for each result. And simply they're going to be adding and hitting save. They're going to be saying a log event, output results, and then send email, and then send to Splunk Mobile. So those are additional actions you can also add. And obviously the grayed out ones are ones that are not going to be happening. Below, we can configure this alert and then run this every hour if Sarah logs in more than 5 times. And pretty much then you can set those parameters of when you want this alert to trigger. So another great thing with Splunk is with this triggered alert, Splunk can also email maybe the SOC at tryhackme.com. That way we know if there's a priority high alert that came in and a short message of what that alert actually sees. So let's go through here and see if we can answer some of these questions by simply going through those short but informational tabs there above us. So what feature can be used to make Splunk take some actions on our behalf? And what that is the trigger action. All right. Which alert type will trigger the instant an event occurs? And I believe you might get the option for scheduling real-time alerts, and that's what it is right there. So that real-time alerts, what's going to be scheduling or what's going to trigger that instant event. So real time. Perfect. And then which option, when enabled, will only send a single alert if a specific time, even if the trigger condition reoccurs? Now, I want to say right here is your throttle command, and that throttle is what's going to actually help you do that. So if we actually, yep, here we go. The throttle option lets us limit the alerts by not raising an alert in a specific time period if the alert is already triggered. So we can actually grab that right here. Too many clicks. Okay, perfect. There we go. And cool, we have almost done it, and we're about to get our success for this room completion. So thanks so much for sticking around and continuously following the GingerHacker channel as we go through the SOC level 2 path on Try Hack Me. Now, this was a brief introduction to Splunk. I definitely recommend, if you've not gotten into or used Splunk before, there are several other rooms and some great challenges that Try Hack Me also has to leverage breaking into Splunk and using that kind of parameter and query language if you're not familiar with it. So congrats on creating reports and dashboards today in Splunk. So let's hit this final check, get our congratulations, and everyone, that is the video today. So really appreciate you guys sticking around. Please drop comments in below. What do you like Splunk? Are you more of an Elastic kind of guy or gal? Do you like Sentinel? What's your sim of choice? And let's always remember, I'll catch you on the next video.